Join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you for giving us the opportunity to pause in our busy day and give honor and glory to you. Thank you for this opportunity for the commission to serve our city and our state. And I just ask that you watch over and give us wisdom over the decisions we make this evening. And thank you for this great opportunity and wonderful airport that serves our community. We pray all these things in the powerful name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
You join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. No comments whatsoever from public?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, we have the approval of the September 15th meeting minutes. Anybody have any corrections or changes? If not, we got a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second.
Shelby Hutton. Brandon Lowry.
Aye.
Paul Myers.
Aye.
Dale Shacklet.
Aye.
Bruce Shelley.
Aye.
Valeska Storms.
Aye.
Steve Walton.
Aye. Thank you. All right. Looking at our corporate hangar drawings.
All right, Benson is here too, and he'll be representing the barge team that's been working on these drawings. And I think in your packet you have them, but I thought we could kind of go over some of the key spots in these drawings. So I've got those drawings, plus I've zoomed in on a few key elements and things like that. First of all, the site, if you would point to the hangar that we're looking at, the one on the west side there. There we go.
Still can't reach it.
So there we go. It's got the laser clear. I don't know if it works.
Yes, there we
There we go. So it's been this site has been while it looks large, it's had some challenges to it. There's a water line that runs along the kind of south to north on the west side of this hangar. It's 15 feet in the ground, so the easement for that is about 20 feet that they
Yeah.
wanted.
Well, it started out one thing and then it changed.
Yes.
So with all of the utilities, we kind of had to move in and move down, but we had room.
Yeah.
So it's really not, it's giving us more area up here, kind of in the corners, but we did shift the hangars to the south a little bit, and they are a little bit closer together than they were.
We are respecting that boundary between the parks property and us, so that is staying clear. But one of the concerns I had, and Jeff and Benson and all them have really looked at it, is as we've had to move this hangar to the east, looking at the amount of ramp space we need, and then if we're going to put another 150 by 100 into the east side there, can we still fit it all in? And I don't want to give up ramp space, because you can see there could be quite the bottleneck if you do have some larger aircraft in there. It could be an issue, but what they're showing is it gets really tight, but it does work. So
What's that width on the ramp in between the two buildings?
just a second,
Okay.
there we go.
166.
Okay. So it's actually a little bigger than it looks
Yes.
from the drawing.
And if you see, right here, you can see the underground water drainage. So we really can't move down anymore. So we have really, from having the extra area we had, we've kind of run out of extra area. So this is about as small as we can go or want to go.
And I think we're right up against the taxiway safety area too.
We are.
Yeah.
So we're still in line pretty much with TDK as well.
What was preventing the building that we're looking at from going to the east anymore? That line there?
Yep, utilities right here.
That's water?
Yes.
Okay.
And so, and what I think our initial was, they said 10 feet, and then they came back and said 20.
Yeah, it's 15.
15.
Typical 15.
Yeah.
It went to 20.
Okay, so we did move it.
On this site too, you'll see that they did create a drive-in area in here, just in case for construction or anything like that, that can be used so that we're not always using this entrance or whatever. So this will be a locked gate, but something that we would have access to should we need it. I'll go deeper into this, but this is just some three-dimensional kind of overview of the inside, outside of the building, and a nice drawing of it from the parking lot looking back into the hangar. The inside here, we've spent quite a bit of time looking at and trying to prepare as much office space as possible. So what you're seeing here is, this is the parking lot area. So you're on the north end of the airport looking south. This is the ramp area out here. These are the hangar doors. This is the west side of the building looking east. So here you're coming along the access road from the airport. And then this would be the taxiway side here, the north side of the building. And we'll talk a little bit about the office area. I had to turn it just to make it fit better on the screen. So this is, if you're looking at the parking lot, there's a double door and kind of a lobby area here, if you would. These green boxes were something that Barge just drew to look, what would offices look like in this building. But we did something similar to like what we did with Mike Jones, and that there is instead of going through the hangar to get access to the ramp, we do have a door going through the office area into the ramp. That, kind of a risk management issue. You don't want your clients going through the hangar, slipping and falling and tripping over anything. And then Barge spent a lot of time on this area down here. We had a lot of the utilities kind of crammed into this building. But what we've really done is put the essential things in here to make this operational, and then move some of the utilities into the kind of the useless little corners of a hangar. In one aspect, if you had one customer, they could lease this whole thing. Or if you had one or two customers, you could lease them just offices and use these bathrooms and little kitchen or break areas as community area or whatever. So here's a nice drawing. And keep in mind too, like the materials that we're using and the color scheme we're using comes from the terminal. The bricks and everything that we use in the terminal. So that's where that is coming from. So here's a little bit closer look. This is a ADA compliant bathroom with a shower. And then a break room, and this would be refrigerator. I think this is our ice maker. I keep bringing it up and stuff like that. But this would be a nice little break area here for people and making ice and coffees and all that for flights. The idea here was, one of the concerns of the architect was, say for example, we have this hangar built, but we don't have a customer. The office area could be just shut off. Maybe perhaps these bathrooms are just stubbed in, but not, we don't have walls up or anything like that, but we've got the plumbing there in place. We could always use this, just rent out the hangar space until a customer comes in and wants to build out the office space. We would have a working bathroom. It too has a shower, a little janitor's closet, washer, dryer, hot water heater, and here's your riser room. Then use this. So then on the opposite corner, we have the electrical and your data closet. That's where all of our electrical is coming from. And I think we're bringing in the new electrical from Panda Express area into this. And I think our data is coming from the field there too.
The only thing to think about on your network closet there, Chad, I mean, all your network runs are going to be coming from the offices.
Yeah, they're gonna be long runs.
So they're going to be really long runs.
That is something we have discussed. Yes.
I don't love that.
No, I don't either. And I don't know if we can,
Do you
Maybe
put the
swap
riser
some
room
of
over there? Or do you have to do that because of water?
the,
Thought water came down that whole backside.
On that, let me make a note of that.
Yeah, that's a
I'll get
good question.
clarification on
It's
that,
something to think about. 'Cause
because it seems like there was a reason.
You're not gonna have any runs from the hangar, or you,
Yeah.
just very few. All of them are gonna be coming from the office.
It seems like there was a reason we had the riser in there, but I'll ask that question.
Did I see, I'm trying to look, you got a garage door on that back wall? there?
Yes, right here.
Right there, that's what I.
now, let me go back. I wanted to point that out. One of the reasons that that is there is the lineup with a driveway that goes into that maintenance facility for McKnight Park. The idea was if there was a semi or something that needed to deliver, we could use that as a
Pull in and back.
pull
up.
in and back up. Same thing for the trash. I know we had talked about it here. There was just no good way to get to it, and then we would have used we would have spent money on 2 drives or,
Right.
so for future development, we're going to have to address garbage for the T hangers and, the other box hangers and stuff like that. So this one is really serving just this hanger. We'll have to do the same somewhere here. Perhaps this one will serve both TDK and this one. TDK is currently using the little trash buggies or whatever you call them on site. So this is what determined that location. And there is a door, so as you come out of the office area, there is a door here that would get you to that drive and get you into the garbage area.
Walk through, man door, yeah.
And there's also doors on the ramp side here. This is also for fire code and all that as well. Excuse me. Here's a elevation of the outside. Intake on this end, and then your outflow on this side. Riser room, access into the hangar. I can't remember what this material is for, if it's a split block or.
Yeah, I think it is, just to block the HVAC.
Here's
The
the,
only thing, and I don't know how you get around it, I don't love seeing that HVAC duct come up the side of the wall. May not be any way around that.
have you seen?
We had the same thing on this.
Yeah.
On this MTSU building, it's kind of tacky. But
Have you seen ever just something that just kind of covers that up, like a covering, a cowling, if you would? for-
Yeah, it's better if you can get it inside, but I don't know that you already got that space so tight. You've got all that bathroom and stuff, which is not letting you have any room for it, but it's just, it's gonna weather differently than also some of your other products.
Let's see if I have that. Yeah, you will see it from the parking lot too.
Yeah. And it'll be fairly large to cover. That's probably 2.5 foot or something out from the wall.
I like the windows at the top of the hangar. That's nice.
Yes, that's bringing natural light, and it's easy to repair, instead of having it on the roof. Yeah,
Don't leak as bad.
Yeah, they don't think as bad, yeah. And I think they're trying to do everything they can to minimize the penetrations of the roof. This is standing seam roof.
I mean, Vincent, you might even get the building manufacturer to look at doing a little jog. And it'd have to be covered with some kind of a roof, but you know, if you jog that little spot out and cover that in the same metal.
Yeah, that's about the only thing I think we could probably do.
Put a little shed roof
Yeah.
off this way.
Doghouse it and just cover it up.
Yeah, it's just, it's gonna be kind of, it's not gonna be the best looking thing in the world if we don't do something with it.
Okay.
This is the business side of the building, but there is something we could do to kind of
Yeah, and I
fix
just hate
that.
for us to spend that kind of money and
Yeah.
not do the best we can with what we've got. But otherwise, looks good.
So we have the duct work and the data closet. See if we can
Yep.
move that.
Yep, I'll get with you tomorrow.
Good work. I like
Yeah,
it.
very good.
Here's a shot of the inside. This is just the idea of if they had lockers, what would that look like? I don't know if this is existing or not.
The
Looks like a window.
I think so.
Okay.
We've done that, the passengers come in, wait for a minute, whatever.
I definitely like low that you've got the side entrance for somebody flying in if they don't have to traipse through the
Yes.
hangar. That's a big advantage.
Let me
Should
go.
should that walkway be covered, you think?
It is.
It's got that
It does have the.
little small
Mhm.
shed on it.
Let me go back to the hangar floor itself. There's a drain in the middle of the floor, and the logic behind that was that this fall is almost, you can't really perceive it. There's also, and here's where we kind of get into a little bit of extra, in that we put a drain here right in front of the door. And, you think you're going to always push the planes in and out during nice weather, but it never really happens. So when the rain does come in, instead of that water running all the way to the middle of the ramp, which is sometimes what we see in the Mike Jones hangar, putting this right here should keep that from happening. And it could be a real good thing for us. But again, that's one of those extra things. They did put some bollards there, just to protect when these doors are moving, to keep people from putting anything there or whatever, just another warning. Kind of a good thing there. Benson, anything else that we got in here that?
No, I think that's, well, I guess, we're working with C-Bench, who did the Mike
Yes.
Jones fire suppression. They're designing the fire suppression for this as well.
We did a total overkill on the slab of the floor for Jones Hangar. We need to try and not go so crazy on this one.
So with thickness or?
Yeah, with thickness and
Weight.
thickness and rebar both.
Yeah.
We could stack 20 tanks on that floor in there and it would never give. I think it was almost a foot thick.
So I think everything that we did on perimeter wise on this was for a Challenger 350. Is what the hangar, the door, the size, and the weight.
What's the weight of that plane,
35, maybe 40.
Is it that much? And nose to tail, what kind of length, you got any idea?
On the Challenger,
Yeah.
if you wouldn't ask me, maybe.
Well, the reason I was going to ask is let's just say it pulls up there and you're trying to back, somebody's going to push it in. I'm just curious how much room that's going to leave in that 166 foot opposite of the other one.
It is not as big as you think. Let's see here.
40,600 pounds.
Is it? Okay.
What's our
That's
I'm
maximum.
going to call it the width, Chad. Zoom up that.
It's 165.
Can you read
Say
that?
door.
I can't read.
Let me see if I've
No,
got
I'm
that.
talking about the whole building.
Here we go.
This length is 169.
This is 100. Oh,
And then
sorry.
what's the other way?
100 here from this.
Not the opening of the door,
So
but the
that-
width of the building.
I'm looking at the vertical.
So it's 68,
100.
Okay.
68 by 69,
All right.
and then it's 20 foot tall tail.
70, 140, about 26 in the middle if they were to stop. Yeah, okay. Else got any thoughts or questions? Looks great.
I know you guys have been talking about several things on the dumpster. And obviously you'll have to do something for the other hangar. Can you not think, instead of everybody having their own dumpster, just one area within the airport where there's multiple dumpsters and that,
I think in the future as we get into the,
because I feel like each time we're gonna be trying to figure out like road access and all those sort of things, and it's like, Nashville Airport, not everybody has a dumpster.
Right.
You have to take your trash over to,
I think that this is gonna be a business, it'll make sense. I foresee, like Chad was saying, commingling something for both of those hangars,
Yeah,
and
but
then
each of the
something
big-
out in the T hangar area.
like the Hangar 7 where Mako flies out of, they don't have their own, they take their stuff over to,
Yeah, do they have street front, road frontage on hangar
no,
7?
they come onto the ramp and empty the dumpsters. It's a frisk to all those, none of them have,
I could see where as we develop,
I mean-
let me go to the back to the, here.
I think what we can do is that as we move forward, that one could be abandoned and do something like what you're talking about. But I don't think we're far enough along in a development of that end just yet to really kind of figure out where's a good, random corner to put dumpsters in.
There will be one area where everybody
Yeah.
will dump
And that
stuff.
development that we had coming down, there's gonna be a
it just takes up
No, I
space.
completely agree with you. As I said, I think for the short
Yeah, that's
run
right.
though, that may have to be a small, just a smaller area or something. It could be whatever, but, I'm with you completely.
I think people just put their trash on a golf cart or whatever
Yeah.
and then drive it over to
Yeah.
the.
I think regardless, it's a nice amenity for this hangar since
Yeah.
it's in easy access.
Yeah.
It's-
And
If we
I
take
get
it
what
away,
she's saying for the-
yeah, we can't move the hangar any closer to the road because, it doesn't affect
Yeah.
the positioning or anything.
The biggest downside of where it's at, in my opinion, is that in the early, short run, we're gonna get some public using it.
Yeah, so how we
How
secure
you-
that.
yeah.
Or they just throw it
Camera
over
or
the top or
something,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
But not much way around that, really.
The other thing that we're dealing with is we did get finally our TDEC or our erosion SWIP for the construction here. So we'll see Hensley coming on site. I haven't heard the latest on that.
Their time starts on Wednesday.
Wednesday. So one of the issues that we were dealing with, we were going to take these plans for plans review to the planning commission, or just plans review. But one of the things that we've run into right now is drainage and drainage quality control and all that. If you recall, way back in 2004 was when the ditch was dug for the apartments on the other side of North Tennessee Boulevard, which created a drainage basin there off of DeJarnett in the northeast corner of the airport. It was my understanding, and based on my remembering of this project, is that they dug out enough for the apartment, but then they dug out another additional amount. I think Mr. Haley had them dig out additional because back in '99, we had swapped the park property to airport property for development of the soccer fields for airport development. And the idea was that whatever drainage came off of there would be handled by that drainage basin down there. That was 2004. By 2008, then we got into the regulations of water quality control and different things like that. So there are no numbers to say that that's what that drainage basin could do, either by quantity or quality control or
I think that's the main thing.
steam,
Yeah,
stream
the main was quality,
quality control.
keeping whatever contaminants.
So what we're going to be asking Barge to do is come up with those numbers, do the survey work, not only for that drainage basin, but also look at what's happening at the end of the runway and if the taxiway. So if we do have to expand that drainage system, that we're not goofing ourselves up in the future if there's ever a change in that runway or anything like that, or getting into any safety areas or taxiway safety areas or anything like that. So it's just a matter of, back then when they dug that, there weren't those calculations like there are today. So we kind of had to pull back, get the numbers, resubmit that once we know what the water's doing, what the situation is with drainage. But other than that, I think we got a couple of items for you that we can work on.
All right, if no other questions, I'll take a motion to approve the pledges.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Can you call the roll?
Kenny Lowry, Paul Myers, Bill Shacklet,
Aye.
Bruce Shelley,
Aye.
Alaska Stars,
Yes.
Steve Walton.
Aye. Thank you. All right, Chad, item number
Sorry,
5.
one moment. Yeah. Drew set the motion. Who was the second?
Cannon.
Thank you.
All right, the next item was the approval of the Airport Consultant Selection Committee's recommendation. Our selection committee, we received 4 statements of qualifications from 4 different firms. I think I shared those with you, Barge, Michael Baker, Reagan Smith, and I forget the other,
Warren Malcolm.
Yes, Warren Mountain. The 2 that were selected for the presentations were Barge and Michael Baker. Our selection committee had Barge and Michael make the presentations, and then had a really good question and answer period. Both were for about at least an hour with each firm, and Paul served on that selection committee. I'd like to thank our purchasing department. They do an excellent job for getting us through that process. Everything is electronic, it's recorded. I don't know if you recall this, but typically when we get a state or federal funding project, about a year or 2 later after the project's done, we usually get audited, and it goes all the way back to who did you select to do this work? And so we go back years into our thing to say, we had a selection committee and here are their scores, and show it all. So it's very helpful that is done properly. In the past, we've had to do it ourselves, and it is a lot of work. Paul, any comments on the presentations or anything like that you'd like to share?
No, I think they both gave great presentations, and glad to continue working with Barge.
I think some of the comments that I received, and Paul probably heard too from that, is Barge really came in. They, as you know, they have brought in some people in the last 5 years to really address a lot of the different projects that we have going on right now. And Joe Nye is probably a key member of that committee, who was already, I think it was like his first week, already got us through an environmental issue that we were dealing with for about almost a year. He got us through that. So I think that was a real key. They really presented some timelines of moving forward. So Michael Baker did an excellent job. They've got some good people too, but it was really unanimous that they went with Michael Baker. So what I'm looking for from you today is just acknowledgement of that recommendation to move forward. Barge is presenting the city with a contract. It'll also go before the state to look at, they will do a comparison, I guess, of fees and things like that to make sure they're in line. And we'll go through a contract renewal, and that contract will come before the Airport Commission and then City Council for approval. Their contract really doesn't end until January of 2026, and we've got already a number of projects under work authorization, so there's no worry about our deadlines or anything like that. So we've got the time. We aimed at this time to get through this selection process so we'd be in place by January. So we're doing well there. Paul, anything else that you can think of for about the selection or anything?
No, it was like you said, the purchasing department did a great job with the process. It was streamlined and the presentations were very good.
Yeah. And I think it helps the consultants too, because they're giving a lot of information to those firms that are participating in the process. So,
Yes, they made it very easy.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
Yeah, and I guess just to add to that, the team that you guys presented, I think is why it's unanimous. The team you guys have put together with the connections you have, and the experience is kind of what put you guys over the top.
Well, we're excited to continue for another 5 years. A lot of things moving.
All right, motion to continue with Barge.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Kenny Lowry,
Aye.
Paul Myers,
Aye.
Bill Shacklet,
Aye.
Drew Shelley. Aye. Valeska Starnes,
Yes.
Steve Walton.
Thank you. Chad, you want to bring us kind of up to speed on our projects?
all right. One that has gotten a lot of work from Barge and a lot of behind-the-scenes work from the LTL group, which is WD Shock, or was formerly known as
Eva.
Yeah. Eva Maples is the lead on this from the LTL group. She is a resident of Murfreesboro. Has been doing this work for many years for many airports across the country. So really feel great that Barge brought her on board because of her familiarity with these projects. She brings Benson and I a lot of ease, because working on this project is it's a very big project for us, but she made it feel like it's she can handle it. So right now, been working with Joseph in the legal department on the easements and acknowledging and finding out the information about the properties that Barge has identified that we will need to be going into to address the trees. So really looking at what existing easements we have and where are we going out further to get those easements. Anything, Joe, you can add to that? No? Okay. So that's where we're at with that. At the same time, Eva has put together, has been working with our arborist with the city, getting him on board, and has a nice little pamphlet that they're putting together to be brought out to the public to describe what this mitigation project is. Here's a selection of trees. We're still working on that. We have some of the low growing, but as you move further out, are there some other trees that can be selected as you get further out, and you can go a little bit higher with your trees. Our next step is to take what information we have gathered with legal, city arborist, our plan that Barge has put together, to take this to Darren and to key members of the city staff to see what they're comfortable with, or any direction that they want to give us moving forward. And then that really kind of will set the plan for how does this project move forward to the public and goes forward. We are at the point, pretty close to the point, where we're needing to get some estimated numbers together for our next ask for Aeronautics Division to go into Phase 2. Phase 2 will be the really difficult part of negotiations with our neighbors to do the additional easement approach purchases. And then Phase 3, if I'm correct, is kind of going into then doing the actual work once those properties and easements are all under contract.
Yeah.
So we do have a plan for working with one particular neighbor to move in to try to work and create some scenes or what those trees and landscaping might look like, so that other neighbors can come in and see that. We kind of want to do that up front. There's some of that probably we can be doing maybe with the properties that we purchased off for the runway protection zone as well. So that's where we are. We are finally to the point where we'll be scheduling with the city manager and city people to move forward with this project and going before aeronautics for the next lump sum. But those numbers are being calculated right now by Barge. Anything to add on that?
No?
Air traffic control sighting report. We're finally moving forward in that we, Barge did the drone and survey work just a week or two ago. And we'll be taking that information, all that data, and preparing it for the way the FAA wants it. We do have the signed agreement. It's amazing once everybody had to report back to work, all of a sudden the federal government came to life and things, we got the signed reimbursement agreement back the day everything was signed.
That's the one thing that's holding us up there, and it's been bounced around a bunch, is the format they want the survey in and what the data, because they want all the elevations of the buildings and everything. And it's just back and forth emails. They're trying to get to the right person. Seems like maybe not everybody's come back yet. So our guys are just waiting for them to tell us what format they want it. Once they tell us, we'll get it to them. And they should then, it'll be in their hands to start moving forward with the site selection.
And does that include kind of our development of future hangars too? Or are we speculating the heights of those?
Yeah, so we do have that development as well. And we'll have some just kind of estimated heights on that.
That kind of takes into account when you look at option number 2, where it's back here by those trees looking over MTSU, those future hangars kind of get into the view. Pavement repair and rehab for T hangars. We finally got the bill money contract for grant for that pavement repair and rehab for the T hangars in the older area there. Again, just a reminder, the state it does not look like they're programming that whole $5 million. So this is a discussion that we will have to have with Barge as we look at, as they go through that design process now to see, I guess we're going to have to kind of phase that or look at what's most pressing and then what do we want to do in the future for those A, B, and C hangars? Do we want to fix that pavement? Do we want to do something different in the future before we sink a lot of money into that area? So the Barge will be helping us through that process. Airport sign, we did receive 4 or 5 bids on the sign. As you know, it did not, we are not putting LED on that, so we'll have the letters going across there. We did receive the bids. 2, I think, got disqualified. One didn't even have a license in Tennessee. So Tim Rice, or Rice Construction, will be the ones that will be building that. We'll be using a lot of our brick that we have left over from the building for that base of that. And so that sign should be going up. I think he has like a 120-day thing. I think Columbia Neon will be the one that they'll be using for the sign itself, which is ironically the same company that built the original sign out there. So that's good. Lobo National Gathering Report, that was a real great success. We had great weather. I think they'd like to sign the contract for 2027 already again. They just, you think about going to different airports, where can you go and have this type of meeting facilities? They were in here. Landlink was able to get us so that we had the screens up and going. They could do their classes in both places. They went out in the town in Murfreesboro on Saturday night. They had a great time. So they love it. They can be right next to their aircraft. We learned, I was trying to put those aircraft in the grass. They told me, oh yeah, we do that all the time in EAA. Up at Oshkosh, those aircraft with those little landing gear just don't go well on our kind of rough grass. So we learned that lesson. we'll figure that out for next time, what we can do better there. But otherwise, it was a smashing success. Steam Fest went really well. The schools, city school thing, I think we had around 300 people there for Tuesday night, and really got some great stories and great response from the teachers and the students and the parents on that. And then Steam Fest was probably another 1,100 people for that. So really good thing. We've had several parents say this is something their children look forward to every year to come to the airport. So that's been really exciting, and somehow we get good weather every time for that one. So Sunday was the photos with Santa. Wasn't sure quite what the turnout would be. Before noon, there was already a lineup of people coming in. The line went from the ramp 3/4 of the way into the lobby the whole day, and right about 3 o'clock when Santa was going to leave, the line stopped. And so we didn't have to turn anybody away to say, you won't be able to see Santa. You know? So it went really well. A number of parents thanked us in that oftentimes you have to pay to see Santa or get pictures with Santa or whatever. This was free. So we saw some families that really appreciated that. Miss Kim took care of them with cookies and coloring and all that. A number of kids brought their coloring to Santa for Mrs. Santa to put on the refrigerator. It was really nice. So, it was really good. And we had a lot of activity, and a jet came in, so they saw what goes on here at the airport.
That's great.
Any other questions about any? It's been a busy October, and we couldn't do it without our staff just banging it out every time for all these events and meetings and everything like that. So they really came in through very well.
We've got this other airport, I know you're headed that way, this commission schedule.
Yes.
It's still on the same weekday
Yeah,
of
yeah,
every
yeah.
month that we've
The
done
only
this past
problem
year.
that we have is January and February every year. It ends up being on a different Monday because of holidays, President's Day and Martin Luther King Jr. Day. But otherwise, it's always the third Monday of each. And depending on, I'm going to put Benson on the bus here, but depending on what happens with any of our projects or anything like that, December meeting, we may or may not need to meet. I can't think of anything pending right now.
No, I mean,
I think we're going to have that meeting with the city staff and Darren, and then that will get us kind of direction as to how to move forward.
Ryan, what about an update on our hangars and lack thereof?
I mean, our leasing is progressing nicely. People have responded well to being able to get the documents submitted, assuming you're referring to the leasing management module. It's been working as expected. I have been pushing him along with our Justin over here to help us get it incorporated onto the app. Right now, the lease management stuff isn't on it, and as some of you have experienced, you can't interface with like an Apple product. Hopefully that will resolve that issue, and then it'll be a little more user-friendly. But as far as on our end, everything's working out really well, and it's doing what it needs to do. Still have several, Chad and I met about it last month, problem tenants that aren't really getting on board, and we'll have to address those individually. But other than that, for the most part, I'd say well over 80 to 90% of our tenants have an active lease and are following the rules as expected.
I shared with you a document that Brian brought to our attention, and this kind of through his work with AAAE, it defines a base customer. And in there, it goes back to our conversations about an aircraft that is capable of landing and taking off, which before was always is an airworthy aircraft from the FAA definition. That's a new line that the FAA has put out. goes right in line with what we're trying to achieve here. So I thought that was really good. It's a tool that we could use then to continue on.
What's on our current waiting list?
We stay on average about 40. Every time I give it and make it to award one, I have more that pop up on it.
We were down to 30 or
Yeah.
less than that,
Yeah.
not too long, when we
Somewhere bouncing
put
around
out the
somewhere
leases.
in there.
I'll throw this kind of out to the room, or Benson maybe has run across this, or maybe not. One other thought might be, some folks have mentioned to me, and I hate to have to bring something else that's a trackable item, but this would also kind of help with people that are just sitting on kind of pencil whipping, so to speak, an airplane. Have you ever seen anybody require a biannual flight review as part of a hangar lease?
I don't think we've ever looked at the pilots. So you could have an airworthy aircraft
It never moves.
because the pilot's not,
Right.
yeah, so they could keep it airworthy. It could be capable of taking off and landing, but they couldn't be. I think there have been discussions, but I think there was maybe, you're not buying gas, you're not doing this. You've got a
Right.
year to kind of remedy this. We'll have to come back and revisit.
Well, I just know that we've still got maybe a half a dozen. We've got at least 3, 4 for sure that, as I said, I think are just kind of penciling, getting somebody to pencil the annuals in. And I just hate to see us still have a list of 30 or 40 people that are
Yeah.
really wanting to fly. And of course, we all know we're hoping, we're getting fuel sales. And so somebody else just mentioned to me, wondered if maybe that was another possibility to throw out there.
So something we did do with that last lease revision is we did incorporate a definition for an active aircraft. And I haven't done a deep dive into the compliance for that clause yet. I was waiting until we had 100% of everybody having a signed lease first.
Right.
But eventually, it is my intent to go through our tenants and make sure that they're meeting that clause. And that's kind of the meat in the document that's doing what you described just now, to allow us to have that authority to be like, hey, is your aircraft being flown? It doesn't have to be flown by you. If you're going through medical issues, the lease has tolerance for that. But we want to see active aircraft, and that's why we went through the definition process for defining active.
There's probably, you get into the grant assurances and things of that nature, but I would think that if you could get them out of the hangar and onto a tie down or something of that nature, you might have some leeway. I'll have to do a little digging, because that's one that I have not thought about. 'Cause
it's unfortunate, and
well, it's everywhere. It's at
well,
every airport.
What I'm going to say is, we're all getting older. Everybody is. You're either getting older or you're passing away. And so, but unfortunately, there are folks that seem like can't accept things that happen to themselves, and therefore, they're hanging on for whatever reason.
Now, we've got estates paying hangar rent,
Yeah,
for 2 years,
right,
because they hadn't decided what they're going to do with their plane yet,
right.
and just rotting away.
And you leave that to a wife that has
Well,
no knowledge of what to do
right.
with that.
It's a lot of problems for anybody that's left, for sure. But, I'm just trying to see if there's another way we can help the situation.
The other thing too, that I think another thing that Ryan and I have discussed too is kind of, once we've gotten our really troubled ones covered, was we've collected a lot of data as to the maintenance, and kind of looking at who's done the maintenance. And we kind of know some of the characters that are pencil whipping,
Right.
and kind of look at that
Right.
and take note of that and focus in on that. So that's the next step, but we're just not there yet. It's taken a lot of work just to get them on leases and to where we are.
Sure.
And I think with the lease, when it came around, there was, would I say 10 that just immediately kind of through the months said, oh, it did what we wanted it to do.
Right.
It forced you to make a decision.
Sure.
You know, say, all right, I'm really not aviating, I'm just pretending at this point.
I'm probably one of the few airport managers that feel good about their existing T-hanger lease. I think it has the meat to do what we want it to do. I do think at some point, and again, Chad and I have talked about it, we're going to have to, not be as nice as we want to be, but we're trying to work as delicately as possible, and that's where we're at, because we don't want to change up anybody's life and identity. We don't want to be that person. But if our
And we're not trying to run them off from still participating in the fellowship that they can still have in the facility.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think we've got some folks still here that they're going to have to make some hard decisions and decide it's time to move on.
A couple of weeks ago, we hosted the TAP Academy, which is I guess, kind of Airport 101 for airports. And it's really, I thought it would really be a good class for airport board members, commission members, authority members, because it was aeronautics kind of going over grants, the leases, different things like that. And so it was a really good time in a classroom setting where you had airport managers all of a sudden start talking and ask, well, what do you have in your leases? How do you control this? How do you control that? And it opened up some really good dialogue. And I'll tell you, our leases are ahead of a lot of airports right now. Aeronautics has really pushed getting your leases up as far as rent is concerned. But now that other language of getting the hangar queens out of there is another thing. We're having our airports conference in February, the 24th, 25th, and 26th. Really, the 24th and 25th are the days of the conference itself. And I think I've sent you the agenda or the proposed agenda right now. But a lot of it's going to be spent on working with bringing in companies like AeroSimple and some others that just do with leases, revenues. What are you getting your revenue from at your airports? Are you missing some things that you could be getting revenue from? And then even budgeting and things like that. So I think the focus is bringing all the airports up to snuff, because they really got to increase their revenues and opportunities for revenue that they're missing on a regular basis.
And for what it's worth, this is a nationwide problem. I've talked to airports. I mean, this document came from a conversation with an airport in Oklahoma.
Right.
So we're not the only airport
No.
that's having to find a delicate and political
Sure.
way to address this issue.
And what makes me feel good is I've always been concerned if we're dancing on the grant assurances, but that language right there really helps that.
Right.
That airworthiness not airworthiness, but activity level always kind of gave me some gut problems, because how close are we to upsetting our grant assurances? But they're going along that way too now.
Anybody got any other business they want to bring up? If not, I appreciate all your presence. We'll stand adjourned.